Serious, and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who's anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord, to do His will. I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put your faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play, cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo.
American honor don't lack no soldiers. For the spirit of the Lord, we don't lack no soldiers. You understand me?
The same, black, Hispanic, native, they hate y'all as the same. Hate Christ in they image, paint you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell, toilet connected to the sink. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under YAHANNA, ain't me murdered by them and got a hug from YAHANNA. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priest bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, rank and order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game, put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves. Chose.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí. Lord Commander General Yahanna, I.S.U.P.K.
This is what Commander General Yahanna did. This is what he did.
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. I had to dig.
That's right. Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh, Hashem, Yeshua, Brakatam, to the frère, Yahweh, Shema, la Thamba, Hashem, Yeshua, to nos. Salakia. Yabashin Shabakatham to all the brothers, Yawashimala Tambashim Ashad to all the sisters. I'm priest and officer of 500 Barak Yala with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander John YAHANNA. You understand? Since 1969, we've been teaching you nothing but the truth about these scriptures, about your identity, about the Bible, which is what it's all about. And who am I referring to? So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, who are the real biblical Jews, the real biblical Israelites of antiquity, and no one else. These people over there bombarding Palestinians, Lebanese, Iranians, or however you want to call it, they are not the real Jews. They are what the Bible refers to as bastards that dwell in Ashdod, or the synagogue of Satan. That's literally what Christ called them, those who are proclaiming to be Jews but are not. And it's so important to know the truth, right? Because like Christ said, the truth shall set you free. What is the truth? Is that this Bible belongs to you, so-called Black, Latinos, and Native. This Bible has the keys to every single problem, the solution to every single problem you go about on a daily basis. You understand? And one of the problems we're going to see today is that the title of the class is Patience is Key. Patience is key. And on a whole different level. It's not about waiting for the bus. It's not about, waiting for the rice to cook, or if you make chicken, to make sure the chicken is cooked thoroughly. That's not what it's about. It's about, in general, patience is key to everything. If you rush something, you're going to have to deal with it, but you don't get the best results. And then you have to deal with it, right? Even when you plant a fruit or a vegetable, you can't rush it to grow. You could try. There's different means to grow vegetables and fruits these days, and plants. What do you call it again? Different type of chemical fertilizers, right? To boost the plant. It's not going to be Tawab. They call it what? They call it GMO. They rush it. They call it GMO. It's not going to be good. You might have it. You might have a beautiful looking pineapple, cucumber, or whatnot, but with all these pesticides and these chemical fertilizers, now you get cancer from eating something that probably would have helped you with the cancer you had. You understand? Patience is key to everything. This is what we're about to see today. Why? Because we have to learn how to master patience, just like the Lord is patient with us. Matter of fact, let's pull that real quick. Let's go to this precept real quick, right? Like, share the class. We're live on I.S.U.P.K in Montreal, Toronto, IET in 1 West Ground Zero on YouTube, and I.S.U.P.K in Montreal and Canada on Facebook. My own Twitch channel, as well as on Bigo as well. You understand? On Barak Yala, UPK on Bigo. In one moment. Let me get the precept. What is it? 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. Is it 1 Peter? We're about to pull the precept right now. It's 2 Peter chapter 3 and 9. Make sure you click the sign in and sign out link in the chat. You understand? And just like Officer Ariar said, like, comment, share, and ask your questions. Let me share my screen. Salakia. This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. It says, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, meaning to all those, especially you New Testament Israelites. It doesn't matter. New Testament, Old Testament, Muslim, Christians, right? To all those that say Israel has been forsaken forever. The Lord is not dealing with the nation of Israel no more. The Muslims like to say, well, in the Quran, it do say y'all the chosen people, but God don't deal with y'all because y'all don't respect the promise. Well, this is in the New Testament. You understand? The book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 says, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise. He did not forget about the nation of Israel. There is a new covenant. He made a promise ever since Abraham. You understand? We'll be fruitful in the land and multiply to the point where we can be counted as the sand of the sea or the stars in the sky. I'm just paraphrasing. The Lord did not forget his promise. He did not negate the contract. We did. Why? Because we disobeyed. That's why. That's what happened. This is the reason why we're cursed today. This is another reason why we lack patience with everything. You understand? All you have to do is just listen. And a lot of us wouldn't be in the predicament that they're in. You understand? As some men count slackness, the Most High is not a procrastinator. Unlike a lot of y'all. Y'all procrastinate. Y'all put to tomorrow what you could do today. Y'all see, y'all gonna take your time in coming to the truth. Don't slack when it comes to the truth. Don't slack when it comes to doing the work of the Lord. Don't slack when it comes to saving your life and your loved ones. But just by you sitting in class, by you bringing your children to class, don't slack on that. Don't say, well, that's going to be my last Christmas and then I'm going to come to class. Your last Christmas might be your last and you won't be able to come to class after that. I pray you understand. But don't slack on it. The Lord is not slacking either. You're going to see why. But is long suffering to usward. The Most High the Most High is patient with us. That's what. Imagine the God being patient, and we are to be like the Most High. Christ said, be ye perfect like my Father in heaven is. Well, part of that perfection is being patient. You understand? Trust me on that. Being patient. And sometimes, like the man above me said, a lot of us might have to get bust across the head or upside the head, however it was worded, Salakia, just to learn to be patient. Unfortunately. You understand? A lot of us need a hard wake-up call and be like, damn, you know what? All it took us, wait one more day, 2 more minutes. That's all it took. It takes patience. You understand? You don't grow a flower. Don't just spring out of the ground looking beautiful. From a seedling, a sprout, then petals come on the flower. You understand? Everything takes patience. The best thing on the planet takes patience. How do we know? What is a wonderful gift to God? What is a gift to the Lord? Who could put that in the chat? What is a gift to the Lord? You understand? I'm paraphrasing, but I'm damn near giving y'all the answer. What is a gift to the Lord? Something so precious to God. I'm going to give y'all a few seconds to answer. Right? Anyone in the chat, on the Beagle as well? What is precious to God? Let me give y'all a few seconds to answer. If not, I'm going to just give y'all the answer, which is going to make perfect sense, right? What is precious to the Lord? Or more so, what are we to the Lord? What are we to God? Let me put it like that. What are we to God? I'm going to just give you all the answer. Children. Children is a precious thing to the Lord. We are the children of the Lord. His sons, his daughters. You understand? We are precious. Does it take time to make a child? It takes time to make a child. When I'm saying make a child, I mean, listen, it takes one time, however your intercourse lasts, that's irrelevant. But it takes 9 months for the child to come out of that womb. It takes time. Patience. You understand? You got to be patient. You can't and just, you want a child, you can't just have sex and the next day the child pops out. That's not how it works. Everything takes patience. And a lot of us learn it the hard way. You understand? We hit brick walls all the time. Why? Because we're not patient. We're rushing. You don't want to wait till you get a new job so you go out and sell drugs. The Lord said he'll take care of everything, just like he takes care of the birds, the flowers. The Lord takes care of his possession. What makes you think he won't take care of you? But your lack of patience makes you think, I need money right now. Therefore, I'm going to go get some money right now by any means necessary because I ain't got the right means right now. Your lack of patience got you in jail. That's where your lack of patience got you. You understand? Salakia. Let's read that again. The book of 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness. You understand? The Most High didn't forget about you. He's being patient. We're going to see why. But is long-suffering to usward, who's us, Israelites, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. That's what the Most High said. The Most High said he wants everybody to repent. He wants everybody to have a second chance. Because once it starts raining fire and brimstone from the sky, boy, you can't go back. You can't turn back. You understand? That's why you have to come to class right now. But understand this. We need to strive to be like the Most High. When Christ said, be perfect like the Lord. Hey, listen, you're going to have patience. Because you can't have a drug addict stop doing drugs overnight. You have to have patience with a lot of us come into the truth. You know, we had a lot of, some of us had addiction. Some of us had different things they had to deal with. And it's not overnight that the problems get fixed. It's not. Patience is required. You understand? The Most High is patient. Listen, patience in everything, whether it's with your spouse, whether it's with your kids, with your brothers, with your sisters, you're going to have to be patient. We're not born perfect. That's why we strive to be perfect. If we were all born perfect, Christ wouldn't have to tell us to become perfect. You understand? Shalom, Officer Madabar, Yahweh Ba, Hashem, Yashar Brakathat, whoever tuning in, other one. It's lucky if you need the link, sir. As a matter of fact, let me just put it in the chat. You understand? Patience is required. Like, again, we're not all born perfect. We're not born flawless. If we were born flawless, we wouldn't need repentance. We would not even need a second covenant. We did not need a second chance. We would not need the Lord's patience. Why? Because we're flawless, right? The fact that we have faults to correct shows that you're going to need patience, just like you need to show patience like you are shown patience as well. And how would you not want to show the same patience the Lord is showing you? You understand? Damn, the angels are patient. The angels wants to end this empire. I forgot, I'm just paraphrasing something. I forgot. But the point is, patience is going to be required for everything. Just like the Lord is patient with us, we have to be patient with him. Let me get, what is it again? Go to Acts chapter 7, verse 30. Let me show you how the Lord is patient with us. Right? Acts chapter 17, verse 30. And I think somewhere in Ecclesiasticus as well. The Most High winks at our ignorance. Lakia. It's the book of Acts chapter 17, verse 30. And the times of this ignorance God winked at. You understand? You're going to make a mistake. right? Shalom Yabashin Shabakatha on the Beagle. You're gonna make a mistake, and the Lord may not deal with you right away. You know what? Patience. You understand? That's the point. But you see, even though he winked at your ignorance, there's a but. Now commanded all men everywhere to repent. This is your chance to repent and to not do the same thing you did. You know what's crazy part? Some of y'all might do it again. Trust me, some of y'all might do it again. That's why patience is required. You did this, no sweat. Do not do it again. How many of y'all kids, you tell the kids, you caught the kid stealing. You told the kid what? Oh, you stole? Well, do not do it again. Damn, listen, a lot of y'all, I'll get caught misbehaving. You broke your mother's vase, or you got a bad grade in high school, so you forged your mother's or your father's signature, right? Now you get caught. You're being told to not do it again, right? How many of y'all did it again? Let's be honest. How many of y'all did it again? Did your parents just disown you right away? No, they said, don't do it again. I knew you were going to do it. I knew. I'm being patient with you, but I knew I still have to give you a chance to not do it again. But you did it again. You understand? Of course, I'm disappointed that now we got to deal with it. Don't tell me not to be disappointed. Don't tell me not to be vexed at something. It is warranted. It's not for no reason. But, don't do it again. That's the point. You understand? Let me get the one in Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus 28 and 7. Again, any questions, comments, y'all put it in the chat. The book of Ecclesiasticus. Where is let me get Ecclesiasticus chapter 28. Verse 7. Salakia. Remember the commandments. Don't forget the law. Don't forget the statutes. Do not forget the judgments that come with it. You understand? Remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Salaki. Also, Madabar is joining us. Shalom. So Yabashin Shabbat.
Hey, shalom. Yabashin Shabbat.
Most High in Christ. How everything to Wab, sir?
God, everything to Wab. What's going on with you, man?
Same thing, different day.
Yeah, always in hell.
Damn right. But of course, sir, if you want to chime in at any moment, absolutely let me know. I don't want.
God, I got you.
Kawakan. Again, Ecclesiasticus 28 and 7 says, remember the commandments. Do not forget the law. You understand? Do not think because, damn, what Officer Madabar said, we're in hell. What happens, when you're in Rome, do as the Romans? No, don't forget the law. When you're in America, do as the Americans. Wherever you are, do not forget the law. Remember the commandments. You understand? And bear no malice to thy neighbor. What is malice? Because, again, a lot of y'all are going to read the Bible not understanding basic definitions. What is malice? Right? Shalom on the Beagle. Yabashin Shabrakatha. Yawashamalata. Bashim Yawashai. What is malice? Y'all need the definition of malice. It says, and bear no malice to thy neighbor. Right? What is the definition of malice? Let's see if I could pull this up on the screen for y'all. But anyone could answer, right? What is the definition of malice? Let me share the screen. There's a definition of malice in the Bible. In the Bible, malice, often from the Greek kakia, is defined as a deep-seated, wicked desire to harm, injure, or cause distress to others. That sounds like a premeditated action, to harm someone else. That's what it sounds like. That's malice. You're thinking about harming someone. When I'm saying someone, I'm talking about it says, do not bear malice to thy neighbor. We know who the neighbor is talking about. It's the Israelite, whether it's in the Old Testament, in the Apocrypha, in the New Testament. It's talking about another Israelite. But this is what malice is: a desire to harm, to injure, or to cause distress to others. You want to do that. You're thinking about it. It's damn near like coveting. You understand? You're trying to get coveting is like you're trying to get someone's wife. You don't achieve doing it, but you attempted. Malice is damn near the same. You're planning, you're plotting against someone else to do evil towards them, to hurt them. You understand? It's your desire to want to hurt a brother, and that's a sin. The Bible is all about brotherhood. It says, love thy neighbor as thyself. You understand? If you hate your brother, you hate God. What is it? 1 John chapter 4, verse 20, slightly paraphrasing. You understand? It is described as a heart level see, I said premeditated. I didn't read the whole thing, but that's exactly what it says. It is described as a heart level, meaning you're thinking about it, because your heart does nothing but pump blood. When it's talking about a heart level, it's talking about your mind. You're thinking about it. You're planning on it. It is described as a heart level, premeditated attitude of ill will that often manifests as slander. You're planning something. You're talking shit. Salaki. You're slandering someone. Guile or vengeance. You're not seeking counsel. You're planning. You see what Christ said: turn the other cheek, render not evil for evil. You want to render evil. You're praying a brother does you wrong so that you could do wrong to them. You're not seeking justice. You don't give a damn about justice. You want to harm others. That's what it is. A lot of y'all don't even care about the brotherhood. You pray. You don't pray to not offend someone. You pray that you get offended so that you return the favor by, an act of revenge, an act of malice. That's what you do. A lot of y'all do that. And we have to be patient with every single one of y'all. Be like, hey, you know what? You can't do that. Sometimes you have to get the check-in of your life for you to understand that you absolutely cannot do that. You don't even want to go to counsel. You rather do something evil towards a brother or a sister. You rather plot against them, talk about them. You understand? That's the problem with a lot of y'all. See, it says it is a vicious disposition. It is vicious to want to plot against another. Listen, the Bible says what? If you have an ought with a brother or a sister, anyone, it doesn't matter their rank, it doesn't matter the gender. You understand? It's a man or a woman, a brother or a sister, higher ranking trooper, who cares? The sister is married or not, who cares? You understand? Oh, it's your camp leader. All right, no sweat. You go to them and them alone. And we've been conditioned to be the way we are today. We have to recondition ourselves. We have to reprogram ourselves. And it takes patience. It's not overnight that happens. A lot of it has to be taken to counsel for not taking someone to counsel. Am I making something up? Like, you don't know, you've been told time after time. This is how we operate. This is what the Bible says. Christ told you, you have an issue with someone, you go to them and them alone. Let me bring this up real quick, right? And then we'll go back to Ecclesiasticus. What is it? Matthew chapter, is it 18 and 15? Nothing we're saying we're making up, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, and if you're offended, it doesn't matter. Listen, if it's your husband, if it's your blood brother, if it's, a higher ranking man, anyone, if it's your wife, if it's your sister, it doesn't matter. You understand? Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. You go to that person and you let them know this is how they trespassed against you. You understand? Don't do them wrong because they did you wrong. Maybe they did it on purpose and they have to get the check-in of their life. Maybe it was an accident. People have habits that they still have to break. And this is where patience enters the building. You're going to have to be patient. Maybe it's a repeated offense. Well, you know what you do? You repeatedly go to them and them alone. That's what you do. If you have to repeatedly go to counsel, so be it. But this is how we fix. This is how we don't unalive each other like they're doing in the streets. You understand? What is it? Pooh Shiesty is in jail again for what? Because he did not go to Gucci and Gucci alone. Apparently they had an issue. I don't know the details, but Pooh Shiesty apparently, and his dad, and not his cousin passed away, Salakia. His brethren, what is his name? Big 30, they kidnapped Gucci Mane apparently during Passover week in Houston at that. That's crazy. You know that all that could have been resolved if they knew how to operate on a brotherly level, like Christ told them to. That would have been easy. He could have just went to Gucci like, he's being defrauded or whatnot. Hey, Shalom says Yahweh Shema, Thabashim Yahweh Shai. Salakis, I just seen you unmuted yourself.
Nah, what you saying heavy because he decided to actually be shiesty. He ain't go tell him alone. He decided, hey, I'm gonna take up my name and be shiesty. And that's how the whole situation unfolded. That's why he's sitting in jail right now for being shiesty. When you could have went to a brother alone, whatever dispute y'all got, argument, y'all could just went together, met up, talk about the situation and solved it like that. You got it.
Absolutely. And to that, I think it said in the book of John that all men will see that we follow Christ if we obey the command, if we love one another. Listen, all these nations are making a mockery out of black people, right? There was another unaliving somewhere in Jamaica. French Benjamites are beefing with each other over a Netflix series because they're making Martinique be on the spot worldwide. A brother that was in the movie Zion from Guadalupe saying that this is not gangster enough, this is fake. And I was like, well, damn, there is nothing that we don't argue about. And if you feel offended, you have to go rant on social media. And this is how lives are lost. And to what avail? Just to be a spectacle to the other nations. When Christ said, if you love one another, the other nations will know that you are my followers. I'm just paraphrasing. They say, well, look at these black people again. Black people are at it again. Now, you can complain about the racism you're going to get from East Indians, talking about your behavior. If your behavior justifies their whatever they say about us. Now, I'm not justifying what the heathens are saying. I'm just telling you what Christ said. Let me pull that precept up. What is it? John? Is it John 13? I think it's John 13 and 15 or something like that. Let me get the precept for y'all. Bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna give y'all a precept in a second. Till then, any questions, comments, y'all put it in the chat. It's somewhere in John. Probably John 15, as a matter of fact. It's somewhere in John. I'm gonna get it for y'all. Bear with me 1 second. Now, Christ said, you need to love one another. And people will know. Well, damn. Yeah, that's what I thought. John 13, chapter 13, verse 34. I was looking at verse 50 for whatever reason. John 13, verse 34. A new commandment I gave unto you, that ye love one another. And it's all about brotherhood. Patience is loving one another, because, hey, listen, you're going to have to be patient with your children. You can't just break their necks because they broke your vase. They're children. They break stuff. They're going to smash your TV by accident, or maybe on purpose. Why? Because it's a child. They don't know no better. Just like you did not know no better when you ate pork, not knowing that, the laws is not done away with. You did not know no better that you should not celebrate Christmas. And God had to wink at your ignorance every 25th of the December for the past 10, 15, 20, 50 years. You understand? John chapter 13, verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you. How did Christ love us? He died for us. He became the ultimate sacrifice. Christ is the Passover lamb. Salakia. That ye also love one another. Verse 35, by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples. If you love one another, everybody's going to know. Everybody. Like, we all going to know, yeah, you know what? This is the body of Christ. They love one another. They don't become shysty towards one another. They don't, abhor one another. They don't show malice, like it says to not do, towards one another. Everybody's going to know that we follow Christ. Why? Because it says, if ye have love one to another. Because we just love each other. Officer Matabar offends me, I say, hey, Silak, I say, Silak, so if I could speak to you to the side, this and this and that, this, I didn't like how you said something to me earlier, or how you acted towards me, and what should Officer Matabar say? It's not what he should say, but depending on how he said it, let's go back to Matthew 18 and 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. Meaning what? I go to Officer Matabar, or vice versa. Let's say I'm the one who offended Officer Matabar, and he lets me know, hey, Salak Yag, boom, boom, boom. I didn't really appreciate how, he communicates the offense. I apologize. I say, I apologize, sir. Salakia. I didn't mean to offend him. I just said something or did something that offended him. I say, Salakia. You humbly apologize. You have to humble yourself. You have to humble yourself to be a brother. You can't think you're above anyone, no matter the rank. You can't think just because, you're a husband, you could just treat your wife however the hell you want. And if she says, hey, you offended me, this and that, you say, well, you're my possession, my property. I do whatever the hell I want. No, she should definitely take you to counsel. I don't know what you think this is. This is not Islam. You understand? This is not Christianity. You are not a wife beater. Don't act like a white man. Don't be like the East Indians. Right? Anyone offends you, go to them and them alone. Humble yourself and be like, yo, what you would have done in the world, you would have shanked someone in the neck in the world. The Bible provides the solution to black on black crime, to every issues we have. We're like, yo, listen, this is what happened. That's how I feel about it. I apologize. I apologize to Officer Matabar, and he gained the brother. The brotherhood is stronger now. Because now I'm going to realize, let me not do that around Officer Matabar because it offends him. It's probably, it don't matter how small the offense is. Don't think about how small of a matter it is. If it offends someone, it offends someone. It don't matter the degree, no matter how you regard the degree of it. You understand? If it offends someone, it offends someone. Don't try to minimize the offense because for you, it's something meaningless. To the person you offended, it's not meaningless. Otherwise, they would not have been offended. You understand? Now, verse 16, it says, but if he will not hear thee, meaning if I say, Yo, that was not even that. It was meaningless. I don't know what you're talking about. You should not be offended. Damn. Someone coming to you talking about you're offended. You say you should not be offended. Or you know what? That was meaningless. It was a joke. Don't feel like that. I didn't hear you because now I'm making your offense, like I'm making you offended, meaningless. Like it don't mean nothing to me. I'm telling you, don't be offended because how I see it is not the way you see it. You're seeing it as an offense, and I'm not seeing it your way. I don't care. I'm being selfish. So now that I'm being selfish, what happens? Then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word may be established. You take the person to counsel. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Brakatah. For Yahweh Shemalatah B'Shem Yahushai. You understand? You take the person to counsel. Now you gotta get the matter established. This is the offense, and it's possible that even until the council, you may have resolved the issue, but that doesn't cancel the council. You just said, just bring it up. You know what? We squashed it. It was my bad. Or it said, yo, listen, I felt offended because I don't know. For whatever reason, whatever the offense is, I felt offended. I went to that person. I went to the brother. I went to my husband. I went to my wife. What you went to the person that offended you. They did not hear you. Now you bring it to the council. And you resolve the issue there. Listen, you prevent unaliving within they talk about black neighborhoods are dangerous. They all unalive each other all the time. That's how you prevent it. You understand? How? You go to council. That you don't have to unalive each other. You don't have to render evil with evil. We just read, we're going back to Ecclesiasticus, chapter 28, verse 7. It says, remember the commandments and bear no malice to thy neighbor. You don't plot against your neighbor. You don't plot to bear malice. You don't plan because our offended Officer Madabar now he's like, you know what? Let me do something to him that will make him feel as bad as I felt. You understand? Or vice versa. Officer Madabar do something to me. And I'm like, you know what? Let me plot against Officer Madabar because he offended me. I didn't like that. No, let me do something that he won't like so he feels the same way. Don't plot against one another. Listen, you're going to take the Lord is patient with us for us to understand how we have to be reprogrammed. The Lord's going to be patient with both parties. And it takes patience within yourself to be like, yo, let me reflect for a second. Now, I'm offended. I'm going to just go to the brother or a sister, whoever offended me, and here's the offense. Now, they didn't hear you. If they didn't hear you, don't start bickering back and forth. You didn't hear it. You know what you do? You go to counsel. You be patient enough. Be like, you know what? They don't understand the offense. No, so I would just go to counsel. Salute them. Shalom Yabashin Shabakata, Yawashma, Tabashim Yahushai, whoever offended you, go to counsel. That's it. Now, back to the topic of patience, because everything takes patience. Patience is brotherhood. It says, remember the covenant of the highest. Remember the promise. Just read earlier, the Most High is not slacking with his promise. He's not slacking with his covenant. He's being patient with us that all should, it says, what does it say again? That 2/3 will perish. We don't want everybody to perish. The Most High don't want everybody to perish. That's why he's being patient. The Most High could just count the men that are right here and say, yeah, it's time for Christ to come back and give the order. No, he's being patient. We all have to be patient. We could just say, you know what, I'm in the truth now. The hell with y'all. So like, let me plug in my phone. I'm in the truth. The hell with y'all. I don't have to do nothing. I made my election short. How? I'm just giving you an example. Didn't Christ told the disciples to go teach? Well, now you're in the truth. You don't have to do nothing. You think you're saved. You don't have a responsibility to teach like you are being taught, to push this truth, to bring the truth to brothers and sisters like the truth was brought to you. You don't have a responsibility to have the truth be heard by the deaf. You don't have that responsibility? I guess not. You're selfish. You don't give a damn, really. You really don't give a damn. Come into the truth, you're going to have to be selfless and care about others, not just yourself. You understand? And that's brotherhood. Patience will require you to be selfless. In being selfless, you're going to have patience. You know. Let's keep reading. And wink at ignorance. Listen, the Lord is being patient on 1,000 different levels. He's winking at your ignorance right now because you wouldn't take anybody to counsel. Now you're being taken to counsel for not taking someone to counsel. You know, and you're learning, take someone to counsel. You're learning, this is what you should do, this is what you should not do. You're not going to learn overnight because you're being told to not do something, you did it again. And now again, you probably got to get the check-in of your life, you know. But regardless, the man above us, the Lord, is still patient. You understand? Let's go to what is it again, Salakia? Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32. Any questions or comments, y'all put it in the chat. Ephesians chapter 4. What I said, 32. You know what? Let me start at 31. It's the book of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31. Let all bitterness, you understand, and wrath, and anger, and clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you. Christ told you, it's, you know, you can't be angry at a brother for no reason. You might be angry at some point. You know, you're offended. You're probably gonna feel vexed, you know. But for the sake of brotherhood, you're gonna, you know, being long suffering is a whole different ballgame. How do we know that? Because Pooh Shiesty is in jail right now. How we know? Who else? Someone else I think got shot. A female rapper, I think she's from Detroit. She got shot in Atlanta or something, or vice versa. Why? Because of all these things. All these instructions are here for us to be able to live, for us to be able to not unalive each other, for us to know how to love one another. You understand? It says, let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking. Don't talk shit about one another. You should not do that. Put that away from you. Some of y'all can't help it. You're going to be taught not to do that. You understand? You're going to be taught to not have evil speaking towards one another. You could be offended, and even when you're offended, there's a way to express your offense. You're not going to, you know, there's a way to do everything. Put that away from you. With all malice, with all premeditation. We just read what malice is about. Malice is planning to hurt someone. It don't matter because you felt hurt or just because, you know, damn, you're a horrible person. Put all that away from you. You understand? Verse 32, and be ye kind one to another. A lot of us have to learn how to be kind again, how to be nice towards one another. You understand? Be kind. Someone offers, you know, sometimes you just have to practice kindness, however it is. Maybe offer a gift to someone. Offer flowers to your wife. Why? Because you yell at her all the time. I'm not saying that this will just clear up the air, but practice acts of kindness. Make it become a second nature. Be kind toward one another. Accept a gift. Because now you're going to offend someone by not accepting a gift. You could. And maybe you don't do it on purpose. You understand? A lot of y'all need a different type of patience. It's a lot. You need the patience of the Lord. You know. But you have to learn how to be kind towards one another. Tender-hearted. mean, don't have a heart of stone. Don't be emotionless. You understand? Especially with your family, your spouse, your kids. Don't be. Is it what they call it? Poker face? I forgot what they call it. You know. Let me look up the definition for y'all. Shalom Adawan Yabash Shabakatah, so Mashamar in the building. This is the definition of tender-hearted. Tender-hearted. It says having a kind, gentle, or sentimental nature. That doesn't mean be a softie, you know. But for example, with your spouse, right? Which a lot of brothers have to practice that and learn how to do. Especially coming to the truth. You know, a lot of brothers are too soldiered up in a sense where they're going to treat their wife like a goddamn soldier. Your wife is not a soldier. Your wife is not a trooper. She is not an officer. She is not a captain. She is not a soldier. You're going to have a different type of patience with your wives and your daughters. Why? Because we don't take, men and women do not operate the same, where women are emotional creatures, right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. But knowing that, you're going to learn how to know how to deal with them. What is this? 1 Peter, 2 Peter 7 and 9. Which one is it? Let me pull it up real quick. Just to go with the example, right? No, I think it's 1 Peter 3 and 7. What am I talking about? Yeah, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. It says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge, you don't know what to do. Seek counsel. Call your camp leader, like, hey, Salaki, sir, this is what it is between me and my rib. How should I deal about this? How should I go about it? What should I do? And he'll tell you what to do. And where can you find the knowledge in the Bible? The Bible tells you, don't be like a roaring lion in your house. Don't yell at her for every single mistake she does. This is the reason why Moses gave a bill of divorce he was never supposed to give. Why? Because we don't know how to deal with one another. And he did not know how to deal with all the congregation. Moses like, damn, y'all just part ways. But that was never supposed to be. The Bible is our blueprint for everything. You understand? Like, do not emasculate your men. Sisters, do not do that. The Bible is the blueprint for everything. It is here to fix our people. That's it. It says, dwell with them according to knowledge. You know what? Maybe she's on her woman moment. So maybe you understand, I don't think she was trying to be out of line. She was just, damn, that once a month. Maybe she has stuff that she dealt with coming to the truth from the world. And that she's still dealing with. Now you married her. Well, you have to deal with all them things. All her demons, all her battles are your battles. Just know that. She's a possession in a sense where she is your responsibility. You're going to have to deal with whatever demon she got. You're going to have to deal with whatever trauma she got, whatever problem she got. She got into an accident, and she was at fault. Wow. You have to deal with it. Kawakan, sir.
Hey, Salaki, I got to step away for a minute.
Kawakan, sir. No sweat, other one. You understand? You have to deal with that. Now, you don't know how to deal with it. The Bible is there as your blueprint, and you still don't know how to go about it. You call for a counsel. That's what it is. And you're going to have to learn how to be patient with them. Just like the Lord is patient with you. Christ and the angels are patient. You think they don't want to come back right now to free their people? You think it pleases them to see us in chains and captivity, dying every day? It doesn't. But you're going to have to be patient. Just keep reading. Giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. You're going to have To be tender-hearted. Didn't we just read that? To be tender-hearted. You know, what is it in Ephesians? We just read that in Ephesians. Sometimes you're gonna have to, I don't want to say soften up, right? But you can't. Don't just go about everything, every single argument by cussing her out. You know, sometimes you're like, yo, damn. Let me reflect on how to address this situation. Where is it? Don't fly off the handle. Is that how you say it? You know, why? Because maybe she's not dealing the same way you're dealing with something you did towards her. Like maybe she did something towards you. Sometimes, like just like the Lord winks at our ignorance, you winked at her. Like, damn, you know what? Let me just not let it slide. But you know, I gotta be patient to a whole different level. Because now I have to tell, yeah, this is not appropriate to wear. This is not appropriate to kind of say in public. You know, just like you do with your daughters. You have to be patient. Let them know, yo, do not sit with your legs wide open. This is not proper, what do you call it? Proper etiquette. You understand? As a daughter, especially a daughter of Zion, this, you know, there's a way to sit. There's a way to carry yourself. You understand? And sometimes you might have to repeat yourself. But you have to be patient. You can't just start cussing out your kids. Why? Because she don't sit the right way. You know, maybe they burp out loud in public. I mean, it is a natural reaction, you know, it's gas, but sometimes it's like there's certain things that, you know, require proper etiquette, and you have to repeat yourself over and over and over again, not just as a father or as a husband. Sometimes the mother, the wife, she has to repeat. Why? Because men are poor at listening. You know, it's a art. Listening is an art. And the art is perfected. You have to practice it. Practice makes perfect. What does that mean? It means it's not the first time you're going to get it right. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to get it right, though, but it's going to take patience. You know, that's the whole point. And that's how you're going to have to deal with them. As a husband, you're going to have to be patient with them. You know, and have to comfort them. That's how you're going to be tender-hearted. Sometimes the way you're going to comfort them, you ain't going to tell them, you know what, don't sweat it, forget about it. Sometimes it's like, yo, whatever the situation is, you know, just know that you can't be yelling at her to the top of your lungs every single thing wrong, every single wrong thing that she does. You're probably going to break her even more than she already is, as opposed to fixing her, as opposed to gluing everything back together, you know, as opposed to molding her right. Like even when Salakia, let me see. I want to show you a video real quick. Let me see if I can find a clip of that. You know what? Any clip will suffice, right? Let me just mute the sound. Share my screen. Look at this. This is molding clay. You know, of course, that person perfected the craft of molding whatever they're molding. They're molding a face, but they perfected the craft. Even with that level of skill that they're applying to the craft, guess what? It took patience to perfect the craft. What are you going to do? Are you going to rush and then cuss her ass out and then, you know, break her face? No, you're going to be patient. Patience, even with that level of perfection about sculpting that face that we're just seeing, it took patience to do that. It took patience to do it. It took patience to film it. It took patience to edit the video. It took patience to now we have this that we could watch over and over again, right? This is how you're going to deal with her. According to knowledge, you're going to give honor unto her as unto the weaker vessel. And it's going to require patience for that. You understand? That's really what it is. And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayer be not hindered. You're gonna have to work patient. This is how you're gonna show how to be tender-hearted with them. Again, don't be a little softy. Don't. But don't be. She's a dragon. Don't be a lion. In a sense where, so I don't want to say it like that, right? Because sometimes they have to be checked the hell out, you know. But sometimes it's like, yo, don't be too harsh on her. Treat her like a delicate flower. You know, that's what I meant. You know, sometimes you're gonna have to let her know, yo, wagwan, right, on the spot. And even then, if you're too harsh, you're gonna have to be like, yo, you know what? I had to check you, but maybe I went a little too harsh. You know, because remember, the way she's going to perceive it is not the way that you're going to perceive it. You understand? Your wife, your daughter, whatever it is. And towards one another, that's how we have to be. Again, you said what? The previous verse said to put away malice, right? Now, Ephesians 4:32 says, and be ye kind one to another. You're going to have to practice acts of kindness so that you're used to being kind. But you don't know how to be kind is where you have to practice it. Bring a gift to someone. Gift a brother. Gift a sister. Not to be a man pleaser. Salaki, that sounds crazy. Right? Not to please the person. Not to please yourself. But you're practicing acts of kindness. Do it, you know, and do it to be in good, do it in good spirit. Not to just please the person. You understand? You get what I'm saying? Do it in the spirit of the Lord. Do it for brotherhood's sake. Right? And be ye kind one to another. Don't try and buy someone's good side by just showering them with gifts. Don't do that. Don't. You know. That's how you deal with prostitutes. You understand? You pay them and be like, yeah, I just paid you. No, give me what I want. No. That's not kindness. But be kind to one to another is something that has to be perfected coming out of this world. Just like how we came out of Egypt and we were not able to deal with one another, beating each other across side of the head to the point where Moses could not deal with us. He had to give the bill of divorce that he was never supposed to give. We're going to have to be patient and learn how to be kind. Learn how to give and accept acts of kindness. It's not just about, you know, you give a little, you take a little as well. That's in everything. You know, gonna be able to be able to receive brotherhood, to receive sisterhood. A lot of y'all not used to it, but you're gonna have to get used to it. Maybe not overnight. It's gonna have to be done regardless. And patience will be shown towards you. Therefore, you have to show patience as well towards others. Be kind one to another. You understand? Tender-hearted. I mean, sometimes, yo, you know what? Maybe I went a little bit too harsh on the brother or the sister. You know, whether it's my brother in my zone and this brother I didn't speak to for a long time. Whether it's just a sister under me, or just my wife, or just my daughter, right? Learn how there is what it said. There is levels to this. You know how to apply the right level. You have to have a threshold somewhere. You understand? Forgiving one another. We have to forgive one another. Isn't this how Christ taught us to pray? Christ highlighted the specifics in what you should ask for. You can ask for anything, but Christ highlighted the specifics when he taught us to pray. Let's finish that verse and then we'll go to it. Even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. The Lord forgave. The Lord gave his one and only begotten Son for the sins of the nation. You know why you're not dead today? Because the Lord forgive you. Because Christ, the Redeemer, you understand? That's why today you're not dead for, I don't know, being an adulterer, being a child molester, being a drug addict, being a witch, being whatever sin you did that you should be punished by death. Listen, whatever death that you deserve, you're not dead and you have a second chance because of Christ, and God forgave you. God is forgiving you. He's giving you a second chance. He's being patient. Therefore, you have to forgive one another and be patient towards one another. That's it. Don't be a hypocrite. Say, you know what? I live the Bible, but I ain't forgiving none of y'all. You did me wrong, I'm going to do you wrong too. That's malice. Because you're already thinking about, doing someone wrong who did you wrong. As opposed to like, you know what? I forgive you. I understand. Don't even sweat it. And that's on all levels. All levels, all rank. There's no respect of persons. You forgive everyone. You made a mistake. No sweat. Don't do it again. No sweat. We're going to go to Christ. What did he say? And how he taught us to pray. And also, when he told, he told Peter, you have to forgive all the time. Was that Matthew 18 and 21? Matthew chapter 18, verse 21. And then we go to the prayer. Matthew 18 and 21 said, then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft, which is how you used to spell often, right? How oft shall my brother sin against me? How often am I gonna be offended and I forgive him? How often do I just have to forgive anyone who trespasses against me? Till 7 times 7? So till 7 times? Peter's asking, is there a limit on how much I have to forgive my brother? Like he trespasses against me 5 times, right? And I forgave him the 5 times. Matter of fact, I forgave him 7 times that he trespassed against me. The 8th time, do I still have to forgive him? The 9th time, the 11th time. However, listen, you brothers out here, your wife complains about you, talking about you trespassed against me because you didn't lift the toilet seat. Now I have to wipe your pee off the toilet seat. Imagine that. Now just like, do I really have to forgive this nigga? Do I have to forgive him? He said something that offends me. He forgets my favorite color all the time. He buys me something that he likes, not something that I like. He don't do it on purpose, but that offends me all the time. Should I still forgive him? Your wife, she has a bad mouth. She has attitude. And you have to check her. She understands. And then she does it again. How many times do you have to forgive one another? How many times do you have to forgive your kids for just, I don't know, peeing their bed? Damn, a lot of y'all are monsters. I could tell. But how many times do you have to forgive one another? That's the point. Peter's asking, after the 7th time, do I really have to still forgive him? Let's see what Christ said. Christ said, Jesus said unto him, Yahawashi said unto him. That's how you say Jesus in the Hebrew. Yahawashi, which is Hebrew for Joshua. Jesus, which is the Greek for Joshua. You understand? Yahawashi said unto him, I said not unto thee until 7 times. No, not just, 7 times? No, not 7 times. But until 70 times 7. I know for a fact that none of y'all are going to do the calculation, the multiplication of 70 times 7, and then be like, yo, what's that? 490 times. 7 times 7 is 49. 70 times 7, the what? 490? 490 times? Are you really going to count 490 times on your fingers? Or keep, what do they do in jail? They keep, they write the, they count the months or whatnot. Or even on deserted islands, that's what they do. They count the months, the weeks, or time. They keep up time by drawing lines on the wall. And every 5 lines, every 5 days, every 5 months, they cross the 4 bars. Are you going to do that until you count 490 times how much you forgave a person? Christ said, forgive them all the time. It's a metaphor. You know damn well you ain't going to count 70 times 7. You don't even know what 5 plus 5 is. You understand? Christ said, there is no limit when it comes to forgiving anyone. If there was, none of us would be here. How? Because How many times the Lord had to forgive us when we sinned and turn our back on him and went to worship the heathen gods? After Egypt, damn near every time. After Egypt, we worship the God literally of every nation. No matter if the Canaanites, the Philistines, the Moabites, the Ammonites. Solomon, a perfect man, knowing the law, had to marry heathens. The kingdom got split. We keep coming back to the Lord, and then we keep sinning again. You understand? Christ said, forgive him all the time. Oh, there's no limits when it comes to forgiving. You have to be patient. Sometimes, the brother might do something. It was an accident. It's a bad habit that needs to be broken. You understand? But there is no limit when it comes to forgiving your brothers and sisters. There is no limit when it comes to forgiving your children. Your child, I don't know, he smashed your phone. He was a child. They play with everything. They smash everything. He took the phone. He just threw it against the wall. You're not going to forgive the child. You're going to hold a grudge against the child for the rest of their lives. You're going to destroy that kid. You're going to deprive them from video game because they broke the TV. Now they can't play video games until they move out the house. You're going to have a runaway on your hands. I guarantee you that. Don't oppress your kids. Don't oppress your spouse either. What you going to do? Hate one another for the rest of your lives? Y'all stuck with each other for life. You hate one another for the rest of your lives? Is that it? Christ said you forgive each other all the time. All the time. Listen, after the council, everything is forgiven. After you went to the person, he said, I apologize, forgive me. Forgiven. It should be erased. It should be lost in somewhere in oblivion, in the abyss. It's forgiven. The issue never happened. If the issue repeats itself, don't pile up everything like, yo, see, you did that and that and that. No, it's an issue happens. You go to the person alone. You say, you offended me. Here's the issue. Boom. Resolve it. It's resolved. It's gone. It never happened. It's resolved. You understand? And the thing is that we're so not used to this. That's why we have to be patient and rehearse the righteous acts. Well, rehearse having patience. Rehearse having forgiveness. Rehearse going to one another about an issue. Rehearse going to one another about an offense. If need be, go to counsel. You don't like it? Well, nobody likes medicine. You still have to take it. The medicine is to go to one another alone, to go to counsel if needed be, if you're not being heard. You understand? To forgive one another. You swallow your pride with that. You put away the malice. There is no malice because why? I forgave you. Now, I forgave you. Why am I holding a grudge against you? I already forgave you. I don't want to beat you. I don't want to choke the hell out of you. I don't want to render evil with evil. I don't have no malice towards nobody. You understand? That's it. That's how it is. And it's as easy as that. I'm going to say easy because we were programmed to just do evil to those who did evil unto us, right? But we have the solution. Since 1969, we've been giving y'all the solution. We've been patiently giving y'all the solution. Good night. Since 1969, I wasn't even conceived. Damn. When my dad is born again? My dad was born in 63. My dad born in 63? No, my dad is born in 65. 1969, he was 4 years old. I was not even gay. I was not far from being ready to get conceived. You understand? But since 1969, the man above us has been patiently giving you the solution to every problem. And it requires patience. Building these zones require patience. Counseling requires patience. We don't process information all the same way. You understand? Some of us might have mental disorders, for lack of better words. Some of us might have ADHD. You might be bipolar. You're autistic, right? Not to paint you in a bad light, but how you process information is not going to be the same as someone who's not autistic. Someone is bipolar is going to process the same information as someone who just has ADHD. ADHD, you can't focus. You have to have patience to help someone focus. But patience is required. They might do something because they didn't process the information right away. Maybe they missed it. And they're like, Salakia. Now, I have to patiently repeat myself over and over again. We teach these classes every week. Sometimes it could be the same topic that we have to teach over and over again. We have to teach the law and repeat it to our children over and over again. It's going to take patience for them to understand that they should not sleep with a whore. They should not be sodomites. You should not eat pork. You understand? You should not be a criminal. You should not murder. What else? Sex is marriage. We have to let you know. We have to repeat to make sure that when it happens, you don't have to make a mistake by throwing that woman away, or by you going to sleep with another man, because sex is marriage and you're bounded for life. It's going to take patience and a lot of forgiveness. And forgiveness that never runs out. The Lord forgiveness never ran out. How do we know that? Because you're alive today. That's how. Because you were able to come into the truth. And for those who are not, well, they have a chance to come into the truth. You understand? In the lifetime that they're in right now. And listen, don't slack when it comes to seeking the Lord. The Lord said, do not slack when it comes to seeking the Lord. But let me not be too long-winded. Let's go to the prayer real quick for time's sake, right? What is it? Matthew chapter 6. 6, start at verse 9. Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. This is the prayer. Every time when we have Sabbath services, high holy days, you see when you hear the prayer, Abba Nawa, meaning our Father. Abba, Father, Nawa, meaning our Father, right? So this is Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye. Christ is telling you how to pray. Not that you can't ask for anything else, but he's telling you, listen, this is how you pray. I understand you want a new car. I understand you want a wife, you want a second wife, you want a third wife, you want children. I understand. It's normal to want something. It's normal to want someone. It's normal to want better. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but Christ is telling you how to pray. And this is how he's telling you how to pray. After this manner, meaning this is how you pray. Therefore pray ye, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. This is how you start our prayer. You understand? Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayam, Shamka. Right? Or is it Kodash Shamka, Salakia? I want it by heart. Did you get the point? Verse 10. Thy kingdom come. Again, we went over that already. What is it? Matthew chapter 6. Seek the kingdom first. Push the truth first. You get everything you want. The Lord will give you 10 wives. Just seek the kingdom. Seek to be free from these shackles. That proper order is established on this planet. You understand? You're tired of hearing about kids dying on the TV. No sweat. Seek the kingdom. And in the kingdom, there will not be one genocide. You will get the answer to your prayers. But seek the kingdom first. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. The kingdom on earth, not in the clouds. The kingdom, the will of the Lord will be done on earth. Verse 11, give us this day our daily bread. You pray you're hungry, you're starving, the Lord will take care of you. He'll make sure you eat. This is how you pray. Pray for the kingdom, the will of the Lord to be done on earth. To get your daily bread. You don't starve to death. You understand? Verse 12, and forgive us our debts. You understand? Forgive us our debts. You ask for forgiveness as we forgive our debtors. You're going to have to forgive to be forgiven. You're going to have to forgive to be forgiven. All the time. Christ told you, you forgive all the time. You're going to have to forgive to be forgiven. How are you going to ask for forgiveness? You can't forgive nobody. How does that even make sense? You understand? Some of y'all, like, yeah, you have to check yourself sometime like them. Did I really ask this? Did I really ask to be given something and I can't give back? Now I have to render, what is it, do benevolence? No, I'm gonna say render justice. That person. I don't want to be the one defrauding you. You know, you're gonna have to forgive to be forgiven. There's no other way around it. So we have to forgive like the Lord forgave us, forgive like Christ forgave us. Christ told you this is how you pray. And forgive us our debts. You owe someone. Not just about money. You owe them justice. You probably owe someone an apology, but you have to forgive. In order to be forgiven, you owe the Lord obedience tonight. Forgive us for being disobedient, as we forgive the ones that did us wrong. You did the Lord wrong because he told you have everything. And what happened? You decided to disobey. Now, asking for forgiveness and him forgiving you, you have to be able to forgive as well. Why? Because he's able to forgive you for the most disgusting, nasty thing that you ever did that is warranted by death. He's forgiving you. Now you go ahead and forgive. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. You understand? There's no other way around it. Salakia. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 28, verse 2. Like I said, everything in the Bible, there's nothing that contradicts itself in the Bible. We read about the Lord winking at our ignorance, right? We read in the New Testament, in the Apocrypha. Now let me show you this. We're reading about forgiving our debts as we forgive our debtors, right? Ecclesiasticus chapter 28, verse 2 says, "Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he had done unto thee." Shalom. There is no contradiction nowhere. It's the same throughout the Bible. Do you understand? You have to forgive to be forgiven. Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he had done unto thee. So shall thy sins. Now it's talking about your sin, not your neighbor's sin. Not your neighbor's trespass, talking about your trespass. Forgive thy neighbor the hurt, the trespass that he had done unto thee. So shall thy sins, thy mean your sins, your transgression, your trespass, also be forgiven when thou prayest. What did we just read? Matthew 6 and 12, forgive us our debts. Forgive us our sins as we forgive our debtors, as we forgive our transgressors, as we forgive the one that trespassed against us, as we forgive the one, that hurt us. Throughout the Bible, listen, Christ is not giving you something that was new. Christ is telling you how to pray. In Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha, right? It says, chapter 28, verse 2, forgive thy neighbor, forgive your debtor. Forgive thy neighbor the hurt that he had done unto thee, so shall thy sins, so shall thy debts, so shall thy transgressions, so shall thy sins also be forgiven when thou prayest. And this is exactly what Christ told us. Christ told us how to pray. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. We're reading that just now. Forgive the hurt that the neighbor caused unto you. You know what? I forgive you. I accept the apology. I forgive you. The same way so that your hurt, your debts, your sins, your transgression are also forgiven. No matter if it's a trespass, if it's a past sin. How can you be forgiven if you can't forgive? This brotherhood, and this is patience. And this is going to be reflecting on yourself like, you know what? I was about to do something, and I didn't. I did not unalive that person. I did not break their nose. I did not crush them to pieces. I reflected for a second. I was patient, like, you know what? Forgive you. I do. And even not just them apologizing, that's, but even you being forgiving them, you gain a brother. You gain a sister. You understand? Salakia says to love our neighbors as ourselves. Meaning what? If we want forgiveness, how can we not forgive? How is that loving one another as we love ourselves? We love ourselves. We want to be forgiven. Wouldn't you want your neighbor, whether he trespassed against you or not, to be forgiven as well? Now, if you're the one that he trespassed against, that means that you are the one who has to forgive him too, not just the Lord. Just like you would like to be forgiven for a trespass, you have to forgive for a trespass that is done unto you. You understand? It's that simple. I mean, I want to say again if it's simple or not, because programming is not. We did not, our women did not throw the black men out the household overnight. They were programmed to do so, right? Just like we have to reprogram ourselves is not going to happen overnight. Patience is the key. That's the topic of the class. Patience with everything. Patience with your brothers, patience with your sisters, patience with the men under you, patience with your children, patience with your spouse, patience with your wives if you have more than one. Patience is the key. Patience is brotherhood. That doesn't mean that every single time there's a trespass, you just let it go. No, there's a trespass, address it. Address the trespass. Bring it up. The person says, Salaki, you forgive them. No sweat. The trespass again, you bring it up. Don't let a trespass be unaddressed. Just mention it. Bring it up. Say Salakia. You understand? Might have to be taken to counsel. Go to counsel 1,000,000 times if needed. That's what's needed. It fixes the community. It fixes the nation. It fixes families. How? Because you go to that person alone, or you go to counsel if needed, and then everything has been established. No sweat. Now it's all in the archives. The trespass never happened. Like, you remember what? I don't know what you're talking about. We always good. You understand? Don't let that fester and destroy your family, destroy your relationship. You have to be patient. You understand? And matter of fact, let's go to Ecclesiasticus again. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 11. Ecclesiasticus is a book of wisdom. Ecclesiasticus, what is it? 11 and 17. No, 11 and 27. Ecclesiasticus chapter 11 verse 27 says, the affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure. Right? Have you ever heard that after the rainy days, the sun is shining or something like that? Listen, that's throughout everything. You have an ought with a brother, which you were good with until you're not good no more. Whether they're in the school or not, it don't matter. It's a brother, right? Don't let an argument be like, yo, I am never, ever going to see like that in a good light ever again. You had an argument with your spouse, so like, which is going to happen. I don't know, no relationship where there's no argument, not even one. You're going to have an issue with your spouse. Don't let that bad time make you forget about the good times. There's going to be bad times. That doesn't mean it's going to be perpetual bad times. It's not going to be forever. It's going to last a minute. It's going to last an hour. It's going to last a week. Don't let that bad week forget that y'all are here for one another. She's going to be on her woman moment, and the attitude of a sister varies, right, from sister to sister. Some sisters are dragons. Some sisters don't want to be touched. Some sisters don't want to be talked to. Some sisters, some smells irritate them. Good night. Forget about it when hormones kick in when they're pregnant, But don't let that one little moment of arguing about don't make fried food or, why is there a sock on the floor? The toys are everywhere. Don't let that bad moment, that bad argument, that bad week, that bad month, right, make you forget about the good times. Because after the rain, here comes the sunshine. After the bad time, here comes the good times. And vice versa. Don't let those good times make you think that there's not going to be ever a bad time again. It probably will. The Lord's probably testing you to see how you're going to go through that. He's testing you. He's making sure, are you going to just drop your sword? I think in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, it says, I don't like paraphrasing. That's why I be pulling up all these precepts sometimes. Because I don't like paraphrasing. Sometimes it's good to know exactly what the scripture says to make sure you understand it, how it's being said. Right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 2 real quick for time's sake. It says, verse 1. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Get ready to be tested. You're going to have to show you can fight temptation. Sometimes it's not easy. You understand? Verse 2. Set thy heart aright. Put your mind right. Going to have to focus and constantly endure. Especially with these bad days. These bad days, listen, you lost your job and then you're going to have to endure and look for another job. You're going to have to endure until the end, like Christ said. He that is saved, endure till the end. You understand? You're going to have to endure. You're going to have to be patient. That's patience too right there. Get ready because the blizzard is coming. The snowstorm will be here. There will be a hurricane for a week. It's going to be raining 40 days and 40 nights. There's not going to be an ounce of sun ray. Until then, endure. And make not haste in time of trouble. Don't fret. Don't glitch. Do not act too quick. Patience again. To be able to endure takes patience. Make haste is you hurry up and then you hit a brick wall. Believe it or not, a lot of us done that more than once. I promise. I pray you understand. But patience and endurance. What is endurance? Let's look up the definition. Let's look up the definition, right? To endure. Endure means to suffer through something difficult or painful patiently. Again, everything revolves around the topic of the class is to be patient. Patience is the key. Or to persist, meaning to endure. This is another synonym, being persistent. To persist and last over a long period. It involves bearing adversity. Should we stop the class right here? Good night. It tells you right here. It involves bearing adversity without yielding, meaning you don't give up. You don't yield. And allowing something to continue. Common synonyms include to tolerate, to withstand, to bear, to persist, to survive. If you don't survive, you die. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 verse 2 said, set thy heart aright and constantly survive, constantly withstand, constantly bear, constantly persist, constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Verse 3, cleave unto him and depart not away, meaning do not yield, do not give up. You cleave unto him. It's like the Lord, the ways of the Lord is like a rope, the rope of life. You cleave unto that rope and you do not let go. You do not depart, because if you do, you fall. You fall to what? To your death. That thou mayest be increased at thy last end. The reward is going to be amazing, being able to suffer. You understand? But I seen a post from Captain Akkad, better blood than tears. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. Be patient. That's it. What is it again? Ecclesiasticus 11:27 said the affliction of an hour. It's not going to last forever. You got to be patient when you are changed to a low estate. The affliction of an hour. Salakia. Make it a man forget pleasure. You think it's the end of the world. What is the word affliction? Affliction, something that causes pain or suffering. The pain of it, it's not everlasting pain. It said of an hour, meaning it's momentary. The pain of the moment. You understand? You're pissed for a second. The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure. Hey, listen, yeah, it happens. It's going to happen. Why? Because how does plants grow? How plants do not just need sun ray and photosynthesis. They need to be watered. They need rain. It's going to rain. The sunny days are going to be gone for a minute, and it's going to rain. After the rain, what? The sky clears up and the sun comes back, and you might see a rainbow. But in order for these plants to be able to live, they have to be watered. The Lord will water the plants by bringing in clouds and rain. The sun will be gone, but not forever. The sun will be gone for an hour, for a week. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Damn, Noah had to not see the sun for a good minute. But he did not forget the sun ray. The affliction, the pain and suffering, the affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure. That's why you have to meditate on the scriptures. You meditate on the scriptures to realize, I can't stay mad. I mean, mad for what? I'm be stressed for what? It hurts for a minute. Listen, you break your arm, it hurts, and then the arm is fixed and it doesn't hurt no more. You probably forget the pain. You know, I damn near broke my toe at some point, you know, and then I don't remember that pain. And it lasted for a good minute. I broke my wrist a couple years ago. I have a fracture in my wrist. I don't remember that pain. That pain, it hurt while it's there. When it's gone, it's gone. Now, I don't feel pain in my wrist. You know, you have to say, what am I going to do? Cut my hand off? You understand? You're going to go through it with brothers and sisters. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to suffer. You know, you being patient is you suffering too, because you just want to cuss them out. You want to cuss out your kids, but you have to be patient because it's a learning process. Damn, I have a dog, Ruby. Shout out to Ruby, right? I had to be patient to house train her. You think it's funny? You think it's pleasant to pick up dog feces and mop the floor? I had a carpet. It's gone. Now, am I going to, get rid of the dog? I chose the dog. It's my responsibility. Now, it took me probably like 3 weeks, but it was 3 weeks of long suffering patience with Ruby. So now she's house trained. She never had an accident. During the house train, she probably had an accident once. But then it's rewarding to have a dog that's properly house trained. It took patience. Believe it, it took patience. It's not funny picking up dog excrements from the living room floor. I had to get rid of my carpet, and it was a nice carpet too. I had a nice rug. I had to get rid of it, you know. But it takes patience to train a dog. It takes patience to raise kids. It takes patience to deal with one another in a relationship, to deal with one another as far as on a brotherly level. It takes patience. It takes the patience of the Lord. And you being patient, you will suffer being patient because you know that, hey, even though listen, you have to check people. You have to check yourself. I mean, you have to check the men under you. You have to check your spouse. The spouse has to check the kids. She has to bring up an issue. There's always, there will be strife. There will be. But there is a solution to the strife. You know, brotherhood, patience. Going to one another, addressing the issue. You understand? But let's not forget that not because we have an issue, we're just going to unalive each other. No. Now we're going to have a better and stronger relationship because we address the issue. You know, that little moment of arguing is gone. It's a moment. The argument is not lasting forever. When it's gone, it's gone. But let's not forget that there's a moment where we don't argue. There's a moment where we smile. You know, there's a moment where we don't smile. Yeah, it'll happen. That doesn't mean the smiles are gone forever. You understand? Again, how do the plants keep growing? They need sun rays, but they do need to be watered. And the Lord will water the plants from heaven. The sun will be gone and it will rain, but the sun will be back. Let's read it again. Ecclesiasticus chapter 11, verse 27. The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure. Don't forget the good times because of the bad times. Don't ever. Because the good times are probably back tomorrow. But you forgot all about them and now you're miserable. Not knowing that it's just for a minute. You know. You're born an Israelite. The brothers will always be there. Your family will be there. Don't think because you have an ought with someone that you're going to have an ought with everybody. You go to that person alone, or they go to you and you alone. That's resolved. And then that affliction of a half a second is gone. You never had an issue. You understand? And now you're brothers, you're sitting at a table, you're drinking and cracking jokes, and that's it. It's that simple. You just have to have patience on both sides. To the one that you forgive and to the one that you have to forgive. So like to the one that you forgive and the one that has to forgive you. Patience is on both sides. Patience is on the side of the Lord. That's why nuclear warheads hasn't dropped from the sky yet. The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure. Listen, there was a time where the kingdom was united. Well, we're going to forget about the kingdom united under King David because it got split under King Solomon. We're going to forget about that. You know, our punishment is just for a time, right? We're not supposed to be slaves forever. I understand that hour lasted 400 years. But our kingdom is to come and will be established forever. That pleasurable life will be established forever. You understand? It do take patience, though. Let's read it one last time. The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure, and in his end, his deeds shall be discovered. Don't let that, break you, and now you're losing your mind. They say you lose your shit or whatnot, right? It's just for a time. Sometimes don't overthink it. Just call for counsel and meditate on these precepts. It says, Psalms chapter, let me get it, right? Get two more precepts and then we're going to end the class. Psalms, Salakia. Psalms chapter 119, right? And verse 15. Psalms chapter 119, verse 15. I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. You're gonna meditate in these precepts. You have an issue, yo, go to the precept, man. It's not, they're not here for nothing. It's like, I have to study that test. I don't know what to do. You go to the lesson. Where's the lesson? It's in the text. What text? That scroll, that roll that we're told to eat up, which is the Bible. The blueprint is there. You understand? It says it. I will meditate. You will take your time. You will study. You will meditate in thy precepts and thy respect unto thy ways. Let's jump down to verse 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Yo, listen, you're in the beef with a brother. Hey, listen, it's gonna be for a minute. It's not gonna be forever. Y'all brothers, like, you can't, you know, it's your bloodline. You cannot unbrother a brother. It's halak. You understand? You cannot divorce your wife, you know, unless you commit adultery. So yeah, beef is gonna get resolved, and then you're gonna forget about this. It's gonna be even stronger. You know, through thy precepts I get understanding. You make a mistake, don't do it again. You do it again, don't do it again. Listen, you did it 3 times, well, you'll be forgiven, but do not do it again. Good night. Something's gonna happen to you where you're gonna understand to not do it again ever. But you're being told that to thy precepts you get understanding. You get to understand what patience is, what forgiveness is, the affliction, how to endure until the end. Therefore, I hate every false way. You know, not being able to resolve the situation, you're not going to like that. But you can't rush every single thing. You can't. You have to have patience. That's how, listen, in everything you need patience. In dog breeding, you need patience. How? Because the dog has to be ready to produce proper offspring. Planting needs patience. I like my plants. I have a beautiful plant. You know, I planted tomatoes. I have corn to plant and beans. It's gonna take patience to harvest. You can't rush the process, and I'm not gonna put no chemicals to rush the process either. Right? It takes time. The Lord knows it takes time because he's telling you he's being patient. The promise will be accomplished, the new covenant, right? But you have to have patience. Let's, you know, Salakia. Shalom, Yabasha Shabrak, Tarwan, for tuning in. You understand? You're going to have patience. And again, the good days will not be gone forever. Let's get that one precept last time, right? One more time, and then we're going to end the class. Ecclesiasticus 11:27. The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure. You know, again, the plants, they need the sun to grow, but they also need rain. Therefore, the clouds will come, the rain will come, they will water the plants, and you think, well, it's dark, it's cold, it's humid, it's wet, it's crazy out here. I'm freezing. I don't like that. And then the sky will clear and the sun will be back. Just know that affliction just lasts for a minute. That strife, that argument you have won't last forever. You understand? That, damn, we've been in captivity for 400 years. We're not going to be in captivity forever. You know, that affliction, I mean, that hour lasted 400 years, but damn, our kingdom will be established when Christ comes back forever and evermore, and will never fall like any of these other kingdoms. But we have to suffer until the end. I pray you understand. With that said, make sure you click the sign in and sign out links in the beginning and the end of the class. We'll end the class right here. We're going to get a security announcements. I'm Priest and Officer 500 Barak Yala of the I.S.U.P.K, which is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Command John YAHANNA. Get ready for the scripture breakdown with John Mahaiman on I.S.U.P.K. One West I.S.U.P.K online classes, or I.S.U.P.K One West online classes on YouTube. Get your questions answered. Bring all your problems, and you will get them solved. And do not forget to not ever give up and endure till the end. Like Christ told you, like God told you, and forgive always as you have, if you want to be forgiven. Likewise, With that, I say Shalom, Yabashim Shabakatam to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemala Tam Bashim Yashai to all the sisters. I'm going to security announcements. We're going to end the class. Shalom, Israel. This is the I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10 means 10th in the Hebrew. Ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation, we have the Feast of First Fruits coming up, right, which is Sunday, Salakia. The Feast of First Fruits will be Sunday, May 31st, 2026. Start before sundown. You can read about it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 10 to 22. Right? So 50 days from Feast of Unleavened Bread. Reminder to all Akim, Wakwathian, reminder to brothers and sisters to check the bulletin board in the hallway of their school that they have a physical location. And if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pant, headband, scarf. With that, so we give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Menavisha Imajim, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Menavisha Imajim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Brakatam. In Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, bless y'all. Yajamata means hands down. Sar, which means to turn if it's the sisters. We'll give him a courtesy salute as well. Menavisha Imajim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak. Yahweh Shamar, Latham Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, meaning Yahweh watch over y'all in the name of Yahweh Shai. Yajamata, meaning hands down, class dismissed. Make sure y'all click the sign in and sign out link. And next week, we will put the call-in number for I.S.U.P.K. Toronto and Montreal. If you have questions and you don't want to put it in the chat or whatnot, you could call the number that we will put and ask your questions. Right? But that's that. Shalom.
We have a gift that nobody can see, that was handed over to us to do something amazing. Take the gift, man. Take the gift. Take the gift, man. And let the Most High work in you to do something you have never believed.
I ain't even impressed what you expect. You see this shit? Hold on, there's one West on my chest.
One West world, that's it.
Fuck a street code, let a priest love. No stain, great Dane with the leash off. I ain't nothing of this world, I need a respawn. I just know they wish that I would stop, but I keep going. These fringes on my calf like a tube sock. I used to stuff the loose ones in my shoebox. And we came a long way from the curbside. Now we looking from the top from a bird eye. And I can't leave my brother on the battlefield. Lord, let the hell rain, we gon' see who real. And you know they gon' hate when they see a plate. So imagine what they doing for $250,000. And we really the only ones going to war. You niggas just be talking like y'all won the war. I made love to this truth and there's no divorce. My Spanish mommy call me Poppy like a corner store. Let me show you how to do it. City living by the word, I think it's time he proved. I think you better use your head before you fucking lose it. And save the acting for the camera, this is not a movie. I pray to God I don't fall off. I ain't nothing like y'all. Niggas think they slime, cut their head off a python. Blame me for my outlook, never counted the lookouts. The world said I wasn't shit, but look how I turned out. Not so bad, huh? Why you mad, huh? We go hard, but go harder for the have-not. Listen, when that oil hit your leg, then you can't stop. Your feet better hit the ground running, this shit bedrock. Man, we tried to put him on, but he sleep. Waking up the people, that's the job for a priest. out the wheel, fringes swinging like a pendulum. You heard of the tribes? Where the fuck you think they get it from? Look, I'm a soldier, get the order, then I get it done. Got some big shit to split the water, make these niggas run. Why you hurt? If I told the truth, then I showed you love. Let me prove it. Wanna move right? Let me show you how to do it. Let me show you how to do it. Said he living by the word, I think it's time he proved it. I think you better use your head before you fucking lose it. And save the acting for the camera, this is not a movie.
Don't step over the line though. Everybody, anybody, it's up for everybody. And that's not even, I got bigger fish to fry. I got people to say it. I ain't even on a rap, so I already beat the rap shit.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to ISUPK.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West.